I'm often asked by prospective customers what the end user experience is like in adaptive planning. Most of the time when they ask this question, they're referring to that business line person who's going to be using the system, and that as opposed to maybe a finance power user. Well, the end user experience is one that can be customized based on individual user or set of users. How you choose to have that end user access the system may be based on a number of things, such as how often you think they'll use the system, will they remember what they're doing from one time to the next, or what functions of the system you want the end user to access. Right now on your screen, I'm logged in as an administrator that has access to every part of the system. These menu items here are all visible to me because I am an administrator. As I go into various parts of the system, I'll show you that I have full access to all information across all levels of my organization. And then in a moment, I'm going to take you into a login that is a little more limited, such as you would see for an end user. A typical end user that can enter data into a planning sheet has a few options. The first is simply to go to the menu and select a planning sheet that they need to use. And they're presented with the sheet, controlled of course by security, that they can enter their planning data on. And it may look something like this. Notice that I have access to all the levels in my company. Another thing they can do is actually go into a dashboard. And when they go into that dashboard, they might have a planning sheet built into that dashboard, as you see here. Now, this planning sheet is actually the same planning sheet that they could access through that other sheet menu, but you're giving it to them in the context of a dashboard. And this dashboard with the planning sheet built in can also be set up as the splash page here, so that when someone logs in, the first thing they see is that dashboard planning sheet. An end user can also go into report menu and select any of the reports that they like to see, such as this variance report here. Or the administrator can set up a task so that the report gets emailed to them at specific times. And all the end user does is click on the link to go and see that report. And then the final way an end user can access planning is through this process function. As I click on process, you're going to see that since I'm logged into an administrator, I get to a part of the system that shows a whole bunch of tasks that are out there waiting to be completed by a number of my end users. So as an end user, or as an administrator, I should say, I can actually see the big picture. And as you're seeing here, I can see different tasks that are running late from different end users, ones that are in progress, and ones that have been completed. Now, keeping all that I showed you in mind, I'm going to flip over to an end user login, and we'll see how that might look a little different. The first thing you'll notice is that this menu on the left has a limited number of options. We no longer see some of the things down here called modeling or workflow. In this particular example, they don't have any access to those dashboards we looked at, although often they do have access. But we still have sheets, so I can go to a template for planning purposes. But notice when I go to that sheet, security is only allowing me to see things that I, as in this case, the marketing executive, have access to. So we're limited by security. Again, we can go to reports. And I can see any number of reports that I might have access to. And those reports look, pretty much the same as they do on the rest of my, for any other user. But again, they're limited to what I'm allowed to see as a marketing person. Notice I don't have access to any other levels in the organization. But now more significantly, notice that in process, I have a specific marketing plan to complete. So my administrator has set up this particular plan for me to complete to make it a little easier for me as an end user. Here I have a number of steps that I need to complete. In this case, there's 7 different steps. And as I complete those steps, I can mark them off by just checking that box. And as I go through them, I can see I'm given directions with each individual step, and I'm giving the sheet that I need to access in order to complete the plan. And as I check these off, the dashboard that I previously showed you for the administrator would be updated. So in summary, there are several ways you can expose the adaptive planning system to your end users. We'll help you determine what might work best, and the really great thing about adaptive planning is that if you want to change your approach down the road, it's very simple to do. So thanks for joining me. Feel free to reach us at revelwood.com.